Hi guys, welcome back to Uncut Hawaii Season 2, Episode 1. I missed you. It's been like a month.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And it was like we were seeing each other every week to record. And
I know. And then we took a break, a little bit of a break. You went to Vegas.
I survived. I'm still recovering,
You
but I
survived.
survived. But yeah, I mean, we took a little bit of a break to just like break down Season 1, kind of realign and figure out what we wanted to do for Season 2. And we have some exciting things. But yeah, we just wanted to change it up a little bit, like get more focused with topics and our guests and all that.
Yeah. So one thing that we thought about is like, when you meet somebody for the first time, what's the first thing that you ask them?
What school you went?
What school you went? Yeah, always. And then you ask,
what do you do?
Yeah. And we get that, we ask that question all the time. And then you're just trying to find like a way to connect. And once you find out what they do, it's usually like,
you find out, try to dig deeper. And
like try to learn something from them, So that was kind of our idea for Season 2. This on top of having our, entrepreneur, creator, change maker friends come on. We also wanted to include some of Hawaii's top experts in their field.
From real estate to spirituality,
essential oils.
Yeah. So I mean, to kick off Season 2, we got real estate expert Ben Fieman. He is a good friend. I've known him and his wife for a while, and we figured he would be like
the guy to talk about real estate. Yeah, he is the self-proclaimed Duke of Diamond Head, and he sells luxury real estate. His face is everywhere, but he actually only started real estate only a few years ago, which is really amazing to hear his journey and just giving us the state of real estate in Hawaii.
Yep, so let's get into it. All right, guys, we got Ben Fieman on today. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Our expert in real estate.
Yep.
So Season 2, we're trying to, we have all of our friends and guests and whatnot, but we want to bring on more experts in different industries. So you're the guy, you're the man.
Yay.
You are the Duke of Diamond Head.
Duke is on the loose.
He's the Lord now, right?
Now the Lord.
The Lord.
Fieman, yeah.
Lord Fieman.
Inside wedding joke.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so how did you get into real estate?
Yeah, how did you
Were you always a realtor or like?
No, so I started off making bikinis actually. So my dad owns local boutique, family business, started in 1978. Worked for him for about 6 years. Started not getting the control that I wanted and didn't like, I just wasn't feeling fulfilled. So I was like, you know what, Dad, kind of want to try something else. And he was super supportive, like the best dad ever. He's like, you know what, go for it. But there was one caveat. He was like, so all the salary that you've been making working for me, you got to give that back. And I was like,
no.
Oh, okay. So I gave it all back. I think I had about like $4,000 to my name. And he's like, okay, go, move out. And because at the time I was living with him and working with him. So he's like, all right, you want to go be a man, which I started late. I moved out at like 31. Yeah, and so I was, growing up, we had nothing. Like, my dad was a entrepreneur, just trying to make it. And then all of a sudden around like the 6th grade, his business just absolutely took off. Like, he had a bikini store like twice the size of this room, and he was doing like $250,000 a month. Just like out the door, like there was lines out the door. Like if you wanted to try on a bikini, he would be like, no, like you either buy it or you leave because someone else is gonna buy it. And it's just super popular in Japan. I remember like walking down Waikiki Beach, and every single Japanese girl had the local boutique piping on the bikinis.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because we just like went from like renting a house to nothing, and all of a sudden my dad's like, oh, I just bought a house in Diamond Head. We're moving there. And so I think that was really important because I started off with nothing. Yep. So we ate like McDonald's and Taco Bell every single night to all of a sudden seeing how much work my dad put into the business and seeing what you can get from it. So that gave me all the motivation I needed to do the same for myself. So all of a sudden, we're in this house in Diamond Head. I went from public school at Waikiki Elementary to private school at Iolani. And my dad's business just did really, really well. So I went to University of San Diego, studied industrial systems engineering. I thought I wanted to design cars. Did a couple internships, realized engineering's not for me. You're behind a cubicle. And I was like, no, I need to be like around people. And so my dad's like, oh, as long as you're in school, I'll support you. Once you're out of school, you're on your own. So I did what every other kid would do. I
keep
kept
going to school.
Exactly. So I went to
Smart.
Pepperdine, got my MBA. So I lived in Santa Monica for a while. Absolutely loved it. And I was like, okay, well, I think I should try the family business at least just to see if, and I thought for sure, I was like, what do I know about bikinis? Nothing. Like I didn't go to design school or anything. So I was like, I'm probably not going to like this. And I'm probably going to just move right back to LA and get like an investment banking job like the rest of my MBA classmates and make six figures and like, you know, live a happy life. I moved back home and my dad started me off in our outlet ward warehouse store, working with high school girls and listening to all their drama all day. And, you know, having an MBA and then it was a very humbling experience. I mean, coming back and selling bikinis in a store and it was pretty rough, I would say. I hate retail. It's like you just stand there. You can't play on your phone. You just stand there waiting for customers to come in. So it was kind of brutal. But after a while, I got super into it. Like I was like, I learned so much about bikinis. And I've never worn a bikini.
Are you sure?
I promise. But
Let me ask some people.
But I learned so much about bikinis from that experience. And so I think it was very beneficial. So finally, after he made me work in the stores he made me work in the stores pretty much the whole time. But like finally after about
Were you doing like you're on the floor like selling these
on
bikinis?
the floor selling? Guess who was the best salesperson?
Yeah,
Because
right.
I actually cared, you know. The other girls didn't really care, but I'm like, this is my dad's company. I'm gonna like try my best. So you know, and I taught we read a book or we train a book called Retail Selling Made Easy. So there's 9 steps to selling: greet, position, speak, tell, show, overcome, nudge, add on, befriend. And I taught this.
You live that.
I taught this selling. It actually helps me in real estate
I was
today.
gonna say, I bet
So I run my open houses just like how I run the bikini store. But I would basically teach all the girls this, and I would do it myself. I'm very proactive. So other retail stores, you know, you have people that like kind of sit back on the counter and don't do anything. We don't have a lot of theft protection at our company. don't try it. But so in order to counteract that, we have a lot of good customer service. So we teach our girls to go up to the front. You know, if you greet someone, they're not going to steal something if they come right to the front. So anyways, so I was really into it. Finally, I graduated, got into designing the bikinis, and then I started my own line of swimwear called Kaimana Beachwear, which was the more sexy Brazilian cut bikinis. And you know, I got picked up by PacSun, a lot of momentum, things like that.
Wow.
But yeah, I was just, you know, at some point I turned 31 and I was like, well, I don't know if this is what I want to do. Like, this is the only thing I've tried.
Right.
And I kind of want to try something else before it's too late. You know, you don't want to pivot careers when it's too late. So with my dad's support, you know, I left, gave him all my salary back. And I went from like a trust fund kid to like nothing, like overnight. And it was, a lot of people don't know this, but yeah, it was brutal, very brutal. So I started renting an apartment across the street from Locations, which is the first real estate company that I joined. And it was literally across the street. I was like, if I'm going to get into real estate, I'm going to go all in. So I want to be walking distance from the office. Like, I don't want to be any further. So rented an apartment with a friend because I couldn't afford, you know, I only had $4,000 to my name at that point. And then I remember like just going to Safeway, like that would be my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, I don't want to eat out or do anything. And then it's crazy because like I still lived that lifestyle of like still going out, like people still saw me out and stuff, but I don't think for that little blip, that little, like, I would say maybe it was like 6 months to 1 year, I didn't like, I wasn't buying bottles. I wasn't ordering rounds for everybody like I used to. I was like, I drank at home, like all my Safeway little Miller Lights. Pre-gaming hard. And then I went out, like had maybe 1 or 2 beers because I didn't want to spend too much. And then I went home. And so, yeah, real estate was really tough. Like, you know, they don't teach you this when you get your license and you think like all these people are going to start coming after you. But no, you got to be like super proactive. So I sat at the office. And the first month, all I did was work on my CRM. I just like, I wanted to input as many people as possible. So I knew that I knew a lot of people. And I think a lot of agents are like so scared to
just reach out
or like even just put people in CRM and get the automatic emails and stuff like that. And I don't know why, but like for me, I'm like, I'm going to put every single person I know. And it's like, obviously they have the authority to unsubscribe or something if they want to. But I think in doing so, like, I think after the first month, I had 3,000 people in my CRM.
Oh, wow.
Which is a lot more than what most agents kind of start off with. And then I just started kind of combing through them. But for that first month, like I had nothing. And so I had to borrow $5,000 from my mom, which is like super embarrassing when you're 31 years old and you have your MBA, your parents put you through all this school and spent so much money. And so finally, that went up in smoke. Because also in real estate, they don't teach you that you got to pay licensing fees, you got to pay MLS fees, you got to pay all this stuff. And so I was like, damn.
It's like running your own business.
Being on your own is like freaking tough. Like you got to pay rent, and like rent is always expensive. I was paying $950 a month.
I know, seriously.
Yeah. So then I had to borrow another $5,000 from my mom. I was like, Mom, I promise, like this is it. Like this is so bad. And so one partner of locations actually saw me like all day just in front of the computer at the company, and she was the only one always there late at night. And then she would notice that like I wasn't really eating, so slowly she's like, oh, are you hungry? I'm like, no, I'm okay. And then she would like come back like at night at 8 o'clock like with a Pokeball, and I'm like, and like I was like starving. I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. Like you don't have to do that. And she did this like kind of like over and over, and I'm like, wow, this like she's like so sweet. So finally I started talking to her. And I realized that I went to high school with her daughter. We're like high school classmates. Yep. She's like, oh, okay. And then one night, we're the only ones in the office. It's like 8 o'clock at night. And she's like, hey, I have a new Japanese client. You know, you speak Japanese, right? And I'm like, yeah, I can speak like conversational Japanese. I'm not like business Japanese. And she's like, okay, I have this new client. Like she's looking for investment property. Can you do some research on some Waikiki like vacation rental properties? I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. I had absolutely nothing to do, no clients. So I'm like, okay, of course. Yeah. So I did a bunch of research, and then I sent it over to her, and she's like, wow, this is actually really good. Like, do you want to pair up with this client? You know, nice. I'll give you like 30% or something. And I was like, oh, absolutely. And so that was kind of like my window in. I helped that client. I showed her a really nice, good property at the time at Hawaiian Monarch vacation rental. And this was a long time ago, like right when, I think before Airbnb or right when Airbnb was starting. So they lucked out. And then she said, oh, you did such a good job. She gave me like most of the commission. She actually turned it around and said, you know what? Have most of it. So that was my first sale. Oh, nice. And then all of a sudden it just started spiraling. Like my second sale, like I came home from an open house, and it was like a terrible open house. Not a single person came by. Like one person came by. I was like, damn, I just freaking wasted 3 hours on a Sunday. And then I'm pulling out my open house. Like I had a pretty nice car that I had a Porsche Cayman, but I was still renting for $950 a month. It was like crazy. But anyways, I'm pulling my open house signs out of my car, and my landlord's like, oh, are you a realtor? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I wanted to buy this like property at Island Colony. I was like, oh shit. I'm allowed to swear? Yeah. Shit. I'm like, yeah, I can help you. And so that was my second sale. Nice. And then my other buddy that he used to bartend at Lobby Bar all the time. You know, I obviously was a frequent guest there. That was my third sale. So then I was like 3 sales right off the bat. And and
it's
so
like that momentum.
Nice.
Yeah. And that just gave me the confidence, like, oh shit, like I can do this, you know? So with those sales, I paid my mom back the $10,000. I was like, I can't have this debt. This is like just too bad. So paid it back. And then in my first year of real estate, I think I sold like over $7 million.
Wow.
And I was just like, damn, this is a crazy industry, because, you know, making bikinis is really tough. I give my dad so much credit. I mean, he's got 3 businesses in one. He designs, manufactures, and retails swimwear. So, you know, he's got this 1-ton roller press. He used to produce 10,000 bikinis a month. When that roller press is broken, he's in there welding it, putting oil in it. Like, I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. And he's got hundreds of employees to manage. In real estate, you just got to manage yourself. You just got to make sure you're working, you're putting the effort in, and you're not just like partying all the time. So,
so I was super year. And what an awesome like story for that what was her name? That lady who gave you your
Kumiko
first
Burns.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. She's amazing. I gave her so many shout outs at my last company. She was amazing, and yeah, she gave me the confidence to do this for sure.
That's awesome. But then, you know, those opportunities like arose, but then like you like
took advantage,
capitalized on it, you know? So like you did the work.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's crazy. Yeah.
And just a sidebar on that too. Shout out to Kyle Shimoda. In that transitional period, he kind of we went to lunch. He knew something was kind of up with me and I wasn't feeling fulfilled, so he brought me to lunch a lot. And then he was like talking to me about the Psy seminars, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm not into that kind of stuff. And I actually ended up doing the Psy Basic, and I think that's what kind of gave me the courage to make the leap, because any person in my position would always hold on to that safety net. You know, you would always work for your family business as long as you're getting the salary, as long as you can go party with your friends and do whatever you want. And you know, I could have dragged it out for more years and years and years, but I just knew at the end of the day, I might not be fulfilled unless I make a name for myself. You know, that company was all my dad's DNA, and he did it, and he made it, and he, you know, he did his thing, and I felt like I needed that extra push, and like doing some kind of self-improvement stuff. That's when I got really into self-improvement, you know, reading like Think and Grow Rich. And then I met the owner of, or the founder of Panda Express. And he was like, you got to go to Landmark. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to Landmark. Did Landmark. And so I think a lot of people don't invest in themselves. And I think that's where all your money should go. Like, sign up for these things, you know, learn how to, you know, I guess improve yourself, improve your morning routine, improve your body, improve your mind, and let all the stuff from the past go. And
100%.
Yeah,
invest into yourself, and I think like things will happen. Yeah, you'll see the ROI on that for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
So how long ago was that when you first started? How long ago since you first started in real estate?
So I got licensed in 2015, started in 2016.
Wow, that's still like fairly recent.
Yeah, it's pretty recent. So I've only been doing this for about like 6 years, and I was at 5 years at locations. Yeah, really great training, great group of people. Amazing. And then I got an opportunity to kind of help kickstart Compass here in Hawaii, and I was like, what is Compass? And you know, they kind of came to me and they showed me their technology platform, and I was like, this is the future. Like, this is going to give all of my clients a competitive advantage, and I always want to do what's best for my clients. They have so many different programs. They're a huge company that you know, eventually they can give my clients money to renovate their homes before they sell it without having to pay anything out of pocket. And that's like no other company can kind of do something like that.
Really good support.
So I'm one of the founding agents for Compass here in Hawaii. I took a leap of faith, and it was at that time there was no one there. We barely had MLS set up, and I was like, but I believed in it, and we sold over $2 billion in our very first year of existence. I mean, they grabbed all the top agents from all the companies, and I knew it was going to happen because it was just the technology platform that they have is just so far advanced. So I'm very happy there. It's helped elevate my brand. I've sold last year about 26 million. This year probably going to do over 30. And so and I'm a solo agent. You know, just my wife just got licensed, so she's starting to help me a little bit. But you know, in real estate, there's these huge, large teams, and you know, they put up decent sized numbers. But I'm kind of doing this on my own because I always feel like when people ask for me, they want me. They don't want some other sub agent that I'm just going to hand off to them. And I just feel like
you want to provide that to your client.
Exactly. I'm all about customer service, and I want to do what's best for my clients. So if I'm not the one there showing the properties, they're going to be like, hey, like, this is not what I signed up for. So I kind of want to make it
you're investing your time into them too, right? Like they see that. And
exactly. So eventually I think I'll get there, but I'm not one of those guys that wants to have this like mega team thing. You know? I want a small team, like my wife, maybe two other people. That's it. Like we want to have good customer service and, you know, get the job done.
Nice.
What do you think do you think that's the thing that sets you apart from other agents? Because I feel like in Hawaii, especially, every other person I know is a real estate agent.
Or they're like
There's
getting
so
their
many.
100%. Yeah. So I can tell exactly like what sets me apart. And it's, you know, most agents just negotiate just to get a deal done because they want to just move on to the next transaction, get the next escrow and just move forward. I don't know what it is about me, but I'm super competitive. Like everything I do, like I still play soccer and I'm like, you know, yelling at the ref and all this kind of stuff. It's like weird, but I have this competitive nature in me. So I always want to get the best deal possible for my client. So when they're buying a property, I'm just trying to get that number down as much as possible, asking the agent, hey, how many offers do you have? Do you have above asking? How much over asking? Obviously don't want my client to overpay. So I'm able to navigate and almost figure out the exact number that they need to get the deal done.
Nice.
Because especially in this market, there's such limited inventory that if you're not working with someone who's gung-ho and experienced like that, you're going to be sending so many offers. And each time you're not getting one, the market is just shooting upwards and you're wasting more and more time, more and more money, and it's getting further and further from you. My goal is like, you know what? I'm going to find out the number that's going to make it happen. Like just a couple days ago, Wildlife Gardens client, 9 offers. I figured out the exact number that was the highest offer. We wrote an escalation, but a strong escalation. So I said we have to come up to 10K over the highest offer, and you'll make that appreciation in about 2 months. And so we got it under contract, and luckily we even during inspection we're getting a $2,500 credit back.
Oh, nice.
Back from that,
Yeah,
so it's going to help with
saving some
costs
too. Yeah.
that. So I'm always looking out for the best interest of my clients, and especially in selling. A lot of times my sellers will be like, yeah, you know what, accept that offer. And I'll say, no, I think I can get higher. Like, let me try create a bidding war or something like that. And time and time again, I've been able to create a bidding war, and they've been able to come up, and my seller's like, wow, you actually got me like 50,000 more than I should have. So I like to work for my commission and earn my commission. You know, I never want my clients to feel like, they just kind of gave it away. So I always earn it, even though it's only 2.5-3% sometimes. I always push the envelope to where they know that, wow, he was worth every penny.
And that's like the best feeling in the world when you know somebody's rallying for you. Like, for sure. I trust him. He's gonna like work super hard for me.
Yeah, exactly. They're
gonna tell everybody.
Yeah,
because it's like a pretty big purchase. It's like not like buying like a.
And especially in real estate, what I've learned is most of your business comes from your sphere, your past clients, and referrals. So if you do those little things and you're fighting for them, and you get them a really good deal, and those kind of things, they're going to always keep you in mind and refer you business. And I want clients for life. I don't want just a client for a transaction and then see you later. I want them for life. I want their kids. I want their kids' kids.
And people in Hawaii will do that.
Exactly.
Like, you
especially in Hawaii.
Good by them, they're going to like tell all their friends and family, and then just keep you're going to be like their family agent.
Yeah,
exactly.
For generations.
And I've noticed that too. Like in my first year and second year, like nobody ever, we call like come list me calls. Like nobody ever called the phone like, hey, I have a house, come sell it, or anything like that. Right when I hit the 5th year mark, that's when it started spiraling. That's when like my past clients, like they had like friends, and they're like, oh, I have a friend I want to sell, and I thought about you, so can you help them out? And I think being a real estate agent is a grind for the first 5 years, and most agents don't make it the first 5 years. But if you can tough it out and push through, after a while, it just starts coming to you. And then the agents that I know that have been in the business for 20, 30, 4 years, man, they're just like kicking back because they've been in business so long that people already know, and like you build your database and everyone knows you're in real estate, that all those come list me calls are just starting to flow in.
Yeah, I think that's like every industry. Like I think a lot of like entrepreneurs or anyone like starting a business, they don't realize that it's a lot of work. But if you put in that work, like eventually it's gonna work out, and it's like you just gotta keep going.
100%. Yeah, everyone thinks like I live this like party lifestyle and I just go out like all the time, which I do. I mean, I'm a firm believer in work hard, play hard. But I mean, my wife Julie can attest to this. Like I'm working at least 10 hours a day, like, and it's almost 7 days a week, and I'm just grinding like emails, phone calls. I got my whole. I'm very organized. I got my whole like to-do list. And,
nice.
I can tell though that you love to do what you do. Like you love your work.
I do. I mean, I read an article by Warren Buffett, and he said there's only 3 ways to build wealth in America. You own your own business, you own real estate, or you own stocks. And I've seen my dad start a business, and it's so high risk, high reward. You can knock it out of the park, and you can lose a lot of money. And I know the grind. I know how hard it is. And I give any entrepreneur who's starting their own business, I give you so much credit. Even if it fails, don't even worry, because it's just such a tough grind, especially here in Hawaii. Owning stocks, obviously everyone did that during COVID, made some good money. Now we're kind of hurting. But I don't like stocks because you just don't have that much control.
Right.
You're just at the mercy of this number that they print out. And they're like, it's worth this much now. And you're just like, what? How the hell did that happen? Real estate is kind of in the middle. You're like, you own your own business, like you own physical property, but you're also investing in the Oahu real estate market, which we got the best weather on the planet. As long as World War III doesn't happen, we're going to continue to go up in value because there's so much demand to move here from Asia, from North America, from everywhere.
Tell us about the Oahu market.
And even so you mentioned like during COVID, like it seemed like housing prices went like super high, and then there was like hardly anything to buy, and now like
there was
interest
like a huge
rates.
demand. Interest
it's
rates
funny.
are low.
So like I come across so many clients who are like, I'm just going to wait for the crash. I'm going to wait for prices to come down.
Yeah.
And then I always ask them, I said, what did you do in March of 2020, did you buy a property? That because there was a little blip in the real estate market. You know, COVID just started. We were all in quarantine, and prices actually just shot way down. There's nothing to see. There were no showings, all that kind of stuff, and nobody bought. You know, so I tell them, you didn't buy then because you were scared. If a crash ever does happen, you're not gonna buy.
Yeah.
You know, and in Hawaii, it's impossible. First off, it's impossible to time the market. Second off, it depends on your situation, but if you're buying for yourself, for your own home, you should never time the market. Why time the market? If you're going to stay there for 7 to 10 years, in Hawaii, we've never had that much downturn for that amount of time. There are only 2 times you care about the price of your property, and it's when you buy it and when you sell it.
Right.
Everything in between doesn't really matter as long as you can make the mortgage payments. So there's no reason to time the market, you know, wait for a crash. You know, if you do that, and a lot of my clients have, and they're so sorry they did, they're further and further away from the train of owning real estate. So
isn't that, do you hear that a lot? Like,
So
I
much.
wish I bought it
all
sooner.
the time. I know. And then it's weird because they won't realize their mistake, and then they'll just keep sitting on the sideline. But I've had a few clients though that realize their mistake, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go buy. You know, I just bought a house this past December, and you know, and in hindsight, I bought a big house in Kaimaki that I'm fixing up for like 1.2. I actually got like over $100,000 closing credit back from the seller.
Nice.
And I got interest rate of 3% at negative 1 point. So I actually got money back from my loan.
Yeah, what the heck?
Which is crazy. You know, so I could have gotten like 2.8%.
They paid you to buy the house.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, that house obviously would have sold for like 1 point, and this is just 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Now it would have sold for like 1.5, and it would have been like a 5% interest rate.
And that's
But
just
at that time, it was like literally the height of the market. It's always the height of the market. And I was like, you know what? I believe in this, and I'm not looking. If you're flipping, or if you're dealing with cash and that kind of thing, then you might want to like focus on timing a little bit. You know, I'm not saying that timing's not for everyone, but if you're buying it if you're renting, you should, and you know you're gonna buy something, you're gonna live in it for a good while. Don't time the market. Just when you have the money and you can do so, just buy it. Get in the market. Even if you buy at the worst possible time, you just have to wait a little bit for it to correct itself. And that's the beauty about real estate. You actually can't make a mistake. If you overpay or you buy at the wrong time,
it's slowly going to correct.
That
all that means is you just got to wait a little bit longer, and then it'll just go back up.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that
That's a good way to put it.
So crazy.
I think your whole thing of like, it's a train, it's going to keep moving, and the longer you wait, you're going to just get
further it's
further.
gonna get.
Yeah.
That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
There's so many people. Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're going to wait for the rates to go down, or we're going to wait for the market, or if you see the house you like, Kobe, buy that house.
Buy that $2.5 million house in Miami that just listed.
Yeah, but speaking specifically about the market today, so interest rates have gone up about 2% within the last couple months. So what does that mean? That means about
everybody seems to be freaking out about that.
They do. So that is 20% less buying power. But I think what people realize is the last 5 years or so, we've been in this weird interest rate environment, which is not a healthy interest rate environment. I mean, 2 or 3% is not healthy for America to have an interest rate. Like that's it's just like giving out free money, right? So we've been in this for a long time. So right now it's probably about, most banks are maybe offering 5.5% or so. If you look at historically, that's still really, really low. I mean, our parents bought in like the 80s for 18% interest.
That's so crazy.
People got to look at like that bigger picture, bigger scale.
So 5.5 is not bad. But what it did do is it did cool off the market. You know, we're not seeing 10, 20 offers on my listings, and I'm just like, $200, $300, $400,000 over asking, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff has kind of tapered off a bit. But there's still very motivated buyers out there. I'm not seeing prices come down at all, but definitely the activity. There's not as many offers, not many buyers going out there shopping. So we're going to start to see it cool a little bit. As for a crash, I mean, there's no data, there's nothing on the horizon that would prove that there's going to be a huge crash coming up or something
that
like
would suggest that.
Yeah, because Hawaii we have no inventory.
Yeah.
We're an island in the middle of the Pacific. Where are you going to build?
Right.
Builders are all backed up. The supply chain's all messed up. Contractors are all backed up. Like
there's always a high demand.
There's always high demand. People are having babies. Like they're going to have to put these babies up. Like there's just no supply. So, I think it definitely will cool off, but I don't see a crash or anything in the near future.
Nice.
It seems like in the last 6 months or so, there was hardly anything to buy. And do you see more homes like available now?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, there's been a trend to move from condominiums to single family homes. You know, so like Ward Village, Howard Hughes, they have all those luxury towers, and that was great when all the trendy restaurants were open and things like that. But since COVID and all the restrictions of your guests coming to the amenities, you know, people are like, I don't want all these restrictions by living in a condo. I want my own single family home, and I want to throw a birthday party. I want all my friends to come over and you know, not have to sign in, and like I can only have 5 guests at a time or something like that. So single family homes just shot up like crazy. You know, I bought one myself. I was like, I never thought I would want to live in a house because I hate maintenance. I don't want to do the yard work, any of that kind of stuff. I was like, I'm always going to live in a luxury condo. But COVID kind of shifted my thinking. I was like, you know what? I kind of want a house. I want to entertain. I want to have like a rooftop party, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I think, you know, things have kind of shifted, and, you know, we'll kind of see where it goes, but
there's only a limited amount of single family homes on Oahu too, right? You can keep building condos and go higher and higher, but
and so the inventory just started to increase a little bit for single family homes, which is huge. But most people in single family homes are like, I would love to sell because I know I could get a crazy high price, but where am I going to
buy?
Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Exactly. So I mean, if you're going to move to a condo, that's great. But I've helped several clients who, especially in today's market, during COVID, they realized that, you know what, I love my home, but I'm spending more time here, and there's certain things I don't like about it, and so they want to go after their dream home. And especially like with people working from home, they want a home office. They want that extra bedroom. They want that entertaining space. So I've told my clients, okay, you know, what we can do is we do a sell, stay, buy program. So we'll sell your home. We'll price it good, so we'll get multiple offers so that we can have friendly terms. And one of those friendly terms is going to be a free rent back for you for 6 months, or sorry, for 60 days, 2 months. So you'll be able to sell your home. You'll get all the money in the bank account. You'll be able to still live in it for 2 months.
And then you have that buying power.
And you have that buying power because you got all that money.
Amazing.
And then our client just in Hahaione, his home appraised for like 1.8. We priced it at 1.8. We got 2.1. He got 300,000 over asking. He's still living in his home for 2 months free.
While he goes
and he just bought a new property, and he's gonna move into his new property, and you know, he wanted more space. He wanted to, you know, he wanted to change it up. And so most people don't realize that, like, hey, you know, in this market, you can get a really good deal that way.
Yeah, no, I think the big thing I realized about real estate too is like, there are so many tools or like programs out there that like people don't realize about. And you know, it's out there. You just gotta, if you really want it. Like that was a really good one that I didn't know about.
What are some things as like, say a first time home buyer? Like where do you even start? Because it's one of those things, if you've never bought a home before, it's so intimidating, and there's so much information that you don't know how to like, unless you have somebody that you fully trust.
100%.
Like, it's intimidating.
Yeah. I remember when I bought my first property, I was renting across the street from locations. I was paying $950 a month, and then my roommate moved out, and I was paying like $1,800 a month. And I saw a property in like Makiki, and it was only like $230,000. It was like a 2-story like loft, and it had a parking right in front. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I crunched the numbers on it, and I was like, wow, it'd only be like $1,400 a month for me to.
Cheaper.
It'd be cheaper. So I was so scared because I was like, okay, what am I doing? I'm moving away across. I'm literally across the street from my office, and I'm moving away. But at that point, like the real estate sales started coming in, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like, and I remember like signing those documents. I'm like, my hands shaking. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, do I really want to do this? And looking back on it, like I thought I was gonna be in there for a long time. I only lasted like a year there, but I absolutely loved it. I paid less by owning than renting. I loved it more, and it was just a good stepping stone. And then I found a unit at Trump Tower, and I lived at in a 5-star hotel by myself for the next property. And after that, after you do your first one, the confidence will build, and it'll just spiral. And looking back, both those properties are amazing investment properties for me. I rent that Makiki condo out for $1,800. I'm making like $400 a month in passive income.
Cash flow,
Trump Tower, I'm renting that one out and making like $1,000 in passive income. And so
it's like they're paying your mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you get in. So, for first time home buyers, I know how scary it is. I think it's more so of like a mindset and belief. Like a lot of people, they don't feel like they deserve to be a homeowner. They just read the news headlines. Price is so high. Price is so high. The first home is not going to be your dream home.
Right.
I'm sorry, but if you're humble enough to take a step back and just make it work, then you'll climb the ladder so much faster. And I think that's the hard part. So many people in Hawaii, they're like, they don't want to take a step back. They're like, they want to live in that penthouse, whatever. And I'm like, no.
It's like an emotional purchase for them versus like a business, like a mindset thing.
Exactly.
This is just a stepping stone. This is going to be not forever.
Exactly.
1 year.
And then you just get in the market, and then it'll turn into an amazing investment property one day, and you just kind of keep going, And one thing I will say about today's market is, all the technology, every website pulls from MLS. So whenever a new property comes on the market, it just blasts out to all these websites. Most people are set up to only see those new properties as they come on the market. I always kind of coach my clients, and I say, number one, go back to the older listings. And proactive, lazy agents won't do this. They'll just say, oh, have you seen anything you like? Have you seen anything you like? I'll go back to the older ones that overpriced, that are vacant, so they're losing money, and that have done price reductions, so they're motivated. Those three things combined together, you can find some of the best deals. Like we just helped one of our clients in Nu'uanu find a property under appraised value because originally it was overpriced. They price reduced. It was sitting vacant for
the seller just
4 or
wants
5
to
months.
Yep.
And I was like, let's just throw a lowball offer and see what happens. And sure enough, they took it.
Wow,
and we came in under asking. So don't just settle for what the technology gives you, and that's just looking at all the new properties as they come on the market. Go back to the old ones, and that's where some of the gems are. Especially the ones where the agent takes iPhone photos, and you can't even tell what it looks like. Like, go after those. Like, all my clients, they're like, I want to submit an offer on the one that has beautiful photos, nicely staged, and I'm like, okay, great, but we're gonna pay a premium for this. Go after the ones that didn't do staging, that doesn't have nice lighting, like barely has any photos. Like those are the gems. That's when you can find a really good deal.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, for sure. I'm having a harder time selling real estate now.
Andrew's wheels are turning. Like, ooh.
He's like going on MLS right
I know.
No, but
once sort by latest days on.
No, once I started looking into MLS and stuff too, there's so many tools on there. You can look at listings that older than you can have all these filters and things. It's crazy.
Yep.
I guess there's more than just Zillow going on Zillow.
Exactly.
But yeah, so with this point in your life now, I mean, you just got married.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How how was that in your journey of building this business for yourself and whatnot? You met someone, and how was that going together, and how did that help?
The next phase of your life.
No longer a bachelor.
I know, exactly. No one thought I would do it. No, Julie's amazing. We've been friends for a long time. Originally met through the Miss Hawaii pageant because my dad's was the bikini sponsor, and she was a contestant for a long time. So originally met. We were both friends. She always had boyfriends. I always had girlfriends. And at one summer, the timing just worked out, and we were both single. And I would just invite her out to all these events, and she was just a good friend, an amazing date to have at all these events. And so we just started hanging out so much that it just clicked. And so I'm just super grateful for her. She supports me so much. She makes me the person that I want to be, and she gives me the confidence to do what I do. And I just wish that I could do the same for her. So
having a good partner is
it's everything.
It just snowballs into this huge
and aligning with what you have planned and everything too.
And now you get to do business together.
And
build together.
You got her to get into real estate too.
I mean, I'm 100% confident. Too, she could outsell me any day. She's just personable. I mean, this was meant for her. So far she's been helping me out with my showings, which has been a huge help because showings take up a lot of my time, and she's great at it. But hopefully she'll kind of see what's there, and if she likes it, great. If not, it's cool too. But so far she's been a big help, and as she's learning more and more, and she's getting more and more confident, then I think she'll eventually start kind of taking clients on her own.
Nice. That's gonna be exciting.
That's a fun thing that you guys can do together.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, real estate. I mean, I'm working from home 95% of the time. I'm one of those agents. I don't go to the office unless I got to meet someone. I'm in my pajamas in front of a computer, and I'm just calling people and doing research and writing offers and all that kind of stuff.
What do you guys do for work-life balance? Like, how are you working on that?
So we do something that's called the Last Supper. And so the last Friday of every month, we do a date night.
Nice.
And, you know, we're so busy. We always got so many events to go to, but we're like, okay. And it's on our calendar every month. And so I have to figure out, like, which restaurant we're going to go to. And so we just kind of pause and, like, do a date night. You know, every week I think would be a little bit much for us with our hectic schedules.
I was going to say, a lot of people do, like, once a week, but I feel like that's not sustainable.
Yeah,
it's a lot. We
try to do
that,
every Friday, and I was like, oh, that's kind of tough.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Like, Last Supper.
We call it Last Supper. We put the last Friday. It's in the calendar, and we just like, you know what? Let's go out to dinner. Let's have a nice date night together, and it just like kind of recenters us for sure.
No, that's good. It's good to have like
Yeah,
those things in
that.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna pitch that now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Megan.
What about because you're like you work for yourself and you're like running your own thing, and so it's like you need to also manage yourself. And so how do you do that? Like, how do you time manage yourself, or even just like manage life?
100%. So most agents don't make it because they come from a job where there's someone telling them what to do, and you become an agent, there's no one to tell you what to do.
It's all on
so
you.
they just go to the beach and they go party and do whatever, and it's like that's the hardest part. You know, I've always kind of felt the entrepreneurial spirit with my dad, and so you know, you have to create systems for yourself, and that's what I do. So, you know, I have my morning routine. I wake up. I work late, so I wake up late. You know, so I'm not one of those like 6 a.m. early risers. You know, I'll be honest. I wake up between like 8 or 8:30.
That's not bad.
Even 9 o'clock sometimes if I'm working till like 1 o'clock. But anyways, I'll wake up and first thing I'll do is I'll put a 10-minute meditation on.
Oh, that's good.
And then I bought this like little Amazon little massager thing. So I massage my body and I like warm myself up and I meditate.
Oh, multitasking.
And then on the App Store, there's a app called Journal. And so I do my journaling. So I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things I want to accomplish for the day, and then like an I am inspirational statement, like I am this or I am that. And then I do 100 push-ups and 200 sit-ups.
Wow.
And then we usually walk the dogs. So I try not to touch my phone until like after we walk the dogs. Then I come back in my computer and it's about like 9 o'clock, and then that's when I like enter the war room and I like open my phone and there's like 40 text messages and like 3 missed calls and like all this stuff. But what I've realized is before I would get stuck in email all the time. Like if you open up your computer and the first thing and all you do is answer emails,
you're going to be there for a while.
You're just reacting to other people's proactive actions. So what I do is I do this thing I call win the day by noon. So the 3 things in my journal that I wrote that I want to accomplish, I try to do those 3 things by noon. And then afternoon, I'll go to the emails and stuff like that. But if you start with emails, you'll get sucked in emails and you'll just be doing emails all day. And you won't actually accomplish the things that you really want to set out to do.
Right. That's so true.
I usually do my marketing. So I'll do like a social media post, and I'll post it not only on Instagram, Facebook, but YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, my Google business page, like all over the place. I'll do prospecting in the morning. So I'll call all my clients who are kind of on the fence or in the getting ready to list their home. And then at noon, that's when I'll kind of go back to the email, because those are kind of responding to other agents that are, you know, they need something, this and that. So it's important to put yourself first, because if you put everyone else first and you don't fill your own bucket, you won't feel fulfilled, and you'll always feel stressed out and behind. If you put yourself first in the morning first, and you're like, I'm going to accomplish these things that I want accomplished, by noon, you feel so good. You're like, oh my God, I won the day. I can literally take the rest of the day off if I wanted to.
The rest is all extra.
Yeah, exactly.
After that.
Yeah.
Dang, that's so good.
That's a good tip for sure.
So that's what I do.
That's
and after that,
super
so
good
I actually
tip.
save emails at night. Because you know what it is when you send an email in the day,
They
when you send
will
one
send
email, two
another
emails come back.
Yeah.
You know, if you do it at
That
night,
is so true.
no one's writing back.
That is so true.
So I always coach my clients too. I was like, hey, if you need something, call me or text me. You know, because I'm gonna check email hopefully only at night. That's usually my goal. So
that's a good.
That's it. I'm gonna start doing the Ben method.
I'm gonna like change up my routine a little bit.
But I mean, it's all about like setting tasks for yourself. So I use Apple reminders, and those are my main tasks for my clients who I'm in escrow with. Those are like the important ones, and I just set weekly or daily reminders like, okay, we got to do inspection, we got to do this. But then I have my CRM for other clients that I want to touch maybe every 4 months, 6 months, maybe even just once a year. Then after I finish all those, I go back to my CRM and I'm like, I call my past client like, hey, so and so, like, how's the house going? Anything I can do to help?
But that's all like you had programmed that
it's all structured.
prior.
Yeah,
so
it's all
just,
structured.
Yeah, it's all your systems.
So there's no one telling me what to do, but I tell myself what to do by inputting these systems. If you don't have that system, I know some agents who are like pen and paper, like you're never gonna know when to do things. So it's all about creating that structure for yourself, knowing what's important to do and scheduling it. You have to schedule it, otherwise it won't get done.
100%. Yeah, I think that's huge, because it's like, especially in the real estate market, like all the resources are out there. Yeah, you need to study and get your license and all that, but like all the information's out there. But it's like, are you gonna put in the work to get it done? So and you've been that's crazy. That's awesome.
And you are where you are after only
6 years.
6 years?
About 6 years and going on my 7th. It's
crazy.
Yeah.
So love it.
Wow, that was good. I'm like trying to just like
absorb
it.
I'm gonna
don't
re-listen to this and like
For sure.
do my routine.
That's so
this is going
true,
on Instagram
though.
Reels.
That is so true. And I do I know like meditation is like all the successful people like have dialed that in, and 10 minutes, even just 10 minutes is like just sets you up, grounds you.
Yeah.
I even just struggle with 10 minutes. It's like,
Same.
it's so hard.
You know what it is about meditation that's the hugest benefit that I've noticed for myself is not really while I'm meditating. It's like I noticed in doing it, when something happens to me, when I lose a listing, when, Julie yells at me, or when like, anything kind of happens, it just gives me that little pause. Before I would just react right away and I'd be like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Like, oh, like F this, F that. But with meditation, it's kind of taught me to just distance myself from that emotion, take a step back, realize what's going on, and then look at it logically and say, like, is this really a bad thing? Like, it might not be a bad thing, You start to, like,
change your
be
perspective
a philosopher
a little bit.
and think about it. It's like, actually, it's not,
Yeah.
And then when I see her getting mad, it's like, well, I probably pissed her off and I probably did something bad. So I should probably look at my behavior and, maybe change that. So meditation has helped me to kind of give me that distance to, like, before it'd be like something happens to me and I react. Now it's like, now I'll take a pause and I'll kind of think about it and be like, you know what, maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe I didn't want that listing.
Yeah, that is so invaluable. Yeah, because that's what they say with meditation. Like, your thoughts are going to continue to come, right? But you just like notice it.
Yeah.
Let it pass.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so
and then
good.
you kind of take it in if you want to.
Yeah.
Anything that happens to you, you create your own story about what that is. And you can always switch it from, like, you're a victim to, like, you know what, I was responsible for this. I can switch it. You know what? And I'm actually grateful that this negative thing happened because it did this, this, and this. And I think that's one of the keys to, like, self-improvement and just looking at life a different way so that you won't constantly be stressed out.
Yeah, one of the biggest things is like things happen because of you, not to you, Exactly. So it's like once you realize that, it's like, okay.
You're in control. Yeah. So what's next for you? I mean, you had a huge 2022 already.
You had a huge 6 years.
Huge
your
6
career.
years.
Yeah.
You got married. Yeah. You were like named by, was it Honolulu Magazine?
Yeah.
Honored with what was the title?
Top performers.
Top performer.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Want to get a little bit more into the luxury market. I just went into escrow on a North Shore oceanfront for $4.2 million.
Nice.
So I want to just keep the luxury going. And then honestly, my end goal, I want to get more into commercial and development. So that's been a little passion of mine. I know a lot of business owners. I've got my MBA. I'm very numbers oriented. So residential real estate is very emotional, and my wife Julie is amazing at that. I'm very logical, like numbers driven. So I wanna sell shopping centers, apartment buildings, businesses, that kind of stuff. I think that kind of excites me a little bit. So I'll be getting probably my commercial license soon and dabbling a little bit in both.
That's exciting. That's
happens.
huge vision.
That's what I want to do next. But we're fixing up our Kaimaki home, which has been a little bit harder than I originally realized, but I've been so busy with real estate that I haven't been able to crack the whip as much. But we're going to have a beautiful house, hopefully by the end of the year. And settle down with my wife, Julie, and have a good life together.
Nice. That's exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations on all your success and like all the things to come too.
Yeah. It's been a long road. It's been bumpy, but as long as you work on yourself and you see the end goal, anyone can make it for sure.
I know you kind of mentioned it a few times, but just to kind of wrap up this whole thing, like for someone that wants to get into real estate or even like into this market, like what would your advice be for them?
I mean, first thing you want to find a good realtor. I mean, if you don't, I think that's the best place to start because they're gonna coach you. You know, a lot of people think they can kind of do it on their own, but real estate changes so much every day. You know, there's new bills. There's Bill 41. There's this new vacation rental bill. There's new rules on this, and there's that, and there's this new building coming up, and
different rules for Hawaii too.
Exactly. So for someone who has a full-time job to kind of stay on top of all those little nuances is really, really hard. So if you have a full-time experienced agent who lives and breathes real estate and is in the fields and knows what's going on, I think that's invaluable for sure. You know, like it's definitely worth the investment to find someone good who's going to coach you and, you know, give you the right advice for sure.
That is huge. Yeah, I would say the same because there's so many real estate agents out there, and like with Hawaii, it's like, oh yeah, my friend knows that person, or like my cousin is a real estate agent, but like the experience that you could get, it could be night and day, and could cost you a lot of money too, like in the end.
Yeah, I mean, work with someone you don't know, you know, and sometimes that's easier. Make it a straight business relationship. You don't want to work with your cousin because there's just little things involved, you know. So
yeah.
What about from the agent side if they wanted to get into like becoming a realtor?
You want to become a realtor, definitely go to a company that has good training. You know, I definitely think Locations did an amazing job at training me, and you know, they had a partnership system where the partners were really motivated to give back to the agent community, and they taught me so much, and I wouldn't be where I am today without their help. Yeah, so you either need to join a good company like that or join an agent who is willing to give the time and dedication to train you first, because it's all about confidence. And to get confidence, you need knowledge. And if you don't have knowledge, it's hard to get your own knowledge. But if you get the knowledge from someone who's been in the industry for a long time, that'll give you the confidence. And once you have the confidence, sky's the limit. As long as you got the work ethic and you're confident, sky's the limit for real estate for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us. How can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, at Ben Fieman. My website, www.fieman.com. And email address, ben@fieman.com.
Nice.
Awesome.
Simple. Catch him on YouTube and TikTok and LinkedIn too.
Oh yeah.
He has a really good like market breakdown and, you know, real estate tours and next $1 million listing right here.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Selling Honolulu.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for listening.
All right. See you on the next one.
Hey.